Welcome back to Beyond the Veil. If you're listening to this, you've probably felt that universal spiritual frustration.
Oh, absolutely.
You sense something uh, deep, something true, and it's essential. You know it is. But instead of a clear sentence, you just get a feeling, a pressure, this sort of knowing that just refuses to translate into simple words.
And that's the exact moment the seeker asks, why can't the guidance just be clearer? And, that question is really the foundation of what we're exploring today.
Yes.
It comes from this incredible transmission from Master Spiritwalker in his text, messages don't always come in words.
We're not just, hoping for a simple prediction here. We're really trying to understand the mechanics of spiritual communication itself. And for those of you who want a deeper, more advanced, and accurate take on spirituality, well, this channel is for you.
Our mission today is, I think, pretty simple. It's to dismantle this expectation of getting like a memo from the universe and instead learn to understand the older, far more reliable language of spirit. Master Spiritwalker opens his whole work with this claim that words are, in fact, the least reliable container for truth.
Okay, let's unpack that, because that's a provocative idea, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, in our world, words are everything. Contracts, love, education, they're how we define clear communication. So why would spirit seem to just reject them?
Well, because words belong to the mind, to the ego. The real spiritual messages, the ones that actually change your alignment, your trajectory, they belong to the whole being. He argues that the very act of translating pure knowing into a human sentence creates distortion.
I can see that. Yeah, a huge spiritual truth. When you boil it down to, say, 20 words, it loses its vibration.
Yeah.
It loses the context, the holistic impact of the original thing. It's like trying to describe the Grand Canyon in a text message.
That's a perfect analogy. Exactly. And the moment you get close to the veil, communication has to change form. It becomes embodied, symbolic.
Atmosphere.
Yes, atmospheric. It moves through sensation, through timing, through disruptions, resonance. And to the mind, that feels vague. The mind craves definition. But the teaching is clear. This isn't spirit being evasive. This is spirit being hyper-precise.
But the ego problem you mentioned, that's the key, isn't it? If spirit just gave me a clear sentence like, you must leave your job tomorrow, my mind would instantly kick in.
Instantly.
He would start negotiating. Well, what about the paycheck? What about my resume? Can I wait till Friday?
And that is the crucial consequence Master Spiritwalker highlights. If spirit only spoke in words, the ego would immediately bargain with it, rationalize it, or just plain dismiss it. Words give the ego a handle to grab onto.
So if words are not the right container for truth, where does the reliable communication actually land?
Right.
It has to be the body then.
The first language is always feeling. Before we had syntax, we had sensation. The body, specifically the nervous system, is what he identifies as the first receiver of all spiritual data.
This is where we have to get specific, though. Because how do you tell the difference between random emotional noise and actual spiritual data? What are the signs he tells us to look for?
We're talking about very distinct, often subtle signals. It's that unmistakable, sudden tightening in your solar plexus when you know a decision is wrong for you. That's data. That says stop.
And the opposite, too. That sudden, inexplicable calm that washes over you when a choice aligns, even if, on paper, it makes absolutely no sense.
Or that example of inexplicable grief. You might feel this profound wave of sadness, but your mind has no memory, no event to attach it to.
Right.
That's often a deep spiritual clearing. Or maybe it's a precognitive empathy connecting you to something bigger.
The genius of spirit using the nervous system is that it bypasses the mind's need for a story. The mind wants a narrative. The body just tells the truth.
But isn't there a risk of just wishful thinking? I mean, how do we really differentiate that precise spiritual data from, a bad mood or indigestion? And that's a really important question. And the teaching addresses it through coherence. Spiritual data is usually impersonal, but it's profoundly relevant. It arrives without the drama that our ego-driven emotions carry. And what's more, true spiritual redirection often comes through discomfort.
Right. Most of us read discomfort, tension, anxiety as a punishment, something we need to just suppress immediately.
But the teaching reframes it completely. Discomfort is a message. It's redirection. It is not punishment. The difference between, say, productive discomfort like sore muscles after workout and destructive discomfort like that gut feeling saying, don't sign that, is its persistence. It's a clear, low-grade no signal.
Your nervous system is just the fastest warning system you have.
The most undeniable one.
So if the body gives us that internal yes or no, what about the signs we see outside ourselves? Which brings us perfectly to the next language. Symbols.
Absolutely. A seeker might expect, a step-by-step itinerary for their life.
A plan.
And what actually arrives are these persistent symbols, repetitions, and interruptions.
We've all been there. Seeing the same animal or number pattern again and again, overhearing the same phrase from strangers 3 times in a week.
Or dreams that just loop back to the same weird place. Doors closing for no reason, no matter how hard you push.
And to the mind, that just sounds frustratingly vague.
It does. But Master Spiritwalker is very clear. This is not vagueness. This is training.
Training? In what? Why not just say, hey, this path is blocked, try another one?
Because symbols force you to participate. They demand that you, the seeker, slow down, engage with the mystery. You have to feel into the meaning instead of just consuming an instruction.
Yeah.
If I tell you what a symbol means, you just memorize an answer. If I give you the symbol and force you to live with it, meditate on it, and draw your own conclusion, well, then you mature your own discernment.
And that maturation, that process, connects directly to preserving your sovereignty. That's a huge theme in his work.
Precisely. If Spirit always handed you a perfect, clear sentence, you would become dependent on it forever. A sentence can be followed blindly. A symbol has to be lived with, wrestled with, integrated. That's how your spiritual sovereignty is preserved. You have to own the truth you uncover.
Okay, so now we have to address maybe the biggest challenge for people on this path: spiritual silence.
The hardest lesson.
If spirit is speaking constantly through the body and symbols, why do we get those long stretches of just quiet?
We mistake it for absence. We feel blocked, abandoned, unworthy. But Master Spiritwalker teaches that silence is just another instruction. Sometimes the message is sit, sometimes it's not yet.
And sometimes the toughest one, you already know, but you're refusing to act on it.
Yes, the spiritual realm does not perform for our urgency.
So silence responds to readiness, not urgency. If answers aren't coming, maybe the question is premature. Or it's rooted in fear, not alignment.
Exactly. And, often that search for clarity is happening when our internal channel is just way too chaotic to receive anything. We're drained, anxious, overloaded. It's impossible to interpret these subtle cues.
That is such a common hurdle. When you're in that state of anxiety, every symbol looks like a threat. Every feeling feels like doom. This is where getting some external support for grounding becomes, well, vital.
It really is. And for anyone struggling to clean their channel or make sense of the symbols or just ground themselves, Master Spiritwalker's organization, Starseed Psychics, which is under the Nomadic Enterprises umbrella, provides resources specifically for this. For lightworkers and empaths, they're a sanctuary for that kind of connection and guidance.
So they offer services designed to help sharpen that perception. Things like various types of readings, archangel, shamanic, clairvoyant, tarot, and also psychic healing services like Reiki and chakra work. They even have study courses for this.
The key is that these tools offer a way to quiet that internal noise. They create the space to wait for the coherence that Master Spiritwalker talks about. And Starseed Psychics is part of the larger Nomadic Enterprises family, which also includes Bourbon Barrel Apothecary, Forgotten Wisdom, and Nomadic Creations. It's a whole suite of support.
And for those who are really committed, they have a time-sensitive offering. The Founders membership right now is priced at $99.99, but that rate goes up to $199.99 on January 1st, 2026.
And locking it in now grants a permanent 30% off everything on the site, which is incredible for ongoing support.
Okay, so let's get back to the core practice, distinguishing between the feeling of listening versus forcing.
Yes. This subtle dynamic is what separates a grounded seeker from one who is just perpetually exhausted.
How does that feel physically? What is that distinction?
When you are truly listening, your body softens, your shoulders drop, time feels like it's slowing down. You're just present without any demand.
And force?
Oh, forcing is instantly recognizable. The mind races, interpretation is frantic, everything feels urgent, loaded with meaning. It's a state of demanding, not receiving.
And that just reinforces the rule. Spirit does not shout over chaos.
It waits for coherence. The path when you're overwhelmed, drained, anxious is not to try harder. It's to step back, clean the channel, ground, rest.
The messages that matter will come back when things are calm.
They'll return without effort. And here's an insight that's often missed. Spiritual messages are not always meant to be understood immediately, not in a linear way.
They don't arrive with footnotes.
Exactly. Some messages are meant to just work on you quietly, reshaping your behavior, your energy, long before they ever translate into a conscious thought. They're preparing you for something you can't see yet.
So the understanding, the aha moment, it often arrives after the integration has already happened in the body.
This is why wisdom traditions have always emphasized stillness, breath, simplicity. Not because the answers are fragile, but because our human mental static is just incredibly loud. The goal is to learn to walk with the veil, not try to tear it open.
So I think the overarching conclusion Master Spiritwalker offers us, and this should be an affirmation for you listening, is this. You are not failing because the messages are subtle or nonverbal. You're not blocked. You are simply remembering an older, more sophisticated way of listening.
Trust the sensation. Respect the pause. Let the symbols mature. The ultimate goal is for the truth to be living in you, changing you, before your mind even catches up and finds the words for it.
The veil speaks constantly, just not in the language we were taught to expect. So we'll leave you with this final thought. What small, repeated symbol or persistent feeling have you been ignoring lately? Just dismissing it as coincidence because it didn't arrive as a clear instruction.
Stay present with it. Stay sovereign.
Thank you for joining us as we explore the nonverbal language of spirit. And remember, links are available in the description for books by Master Spiritwalker and by author Gypsy Wind, Cheyenne James, whose brilliant work she shares.
Until next time.